First thing I'd like to do today for this event um, is do just a welcome. And I want to say, Noah, Tatasa Brian Frijo, Chawi, Skidi, Chariksi, Chariks, Nukazogi, Mikasuki, Kikarus, Dudahe, Titiri, Duda Chikstahu, Titiri Akitaru. And as the MC for this virtual event, NALS, the Summit 2020, here on Zoom this week. I just wanted to introduce myself and welcome you in the language. I come from the Skeety band of the Pawnee Nation and Chawi band. That is the Wolf and the leader band of the Pawnee Nation and the Nukasogi Bear Clan of the Seminole people. So I'm going to get started here. I want to welcome everyone. I am a national motivational speaker, a leadership trainer, team building, suicide, alcohol, bullying prevention trainer, working with communities across Indian country. I work with urban and rural communities, youth, elders, and families, diverse programs across the United States, and work in building partnership with key stakeholders in our communities. So I just wanted to welcome everyone today. I know we're running a few minutes behind, but I think we got everything lined up. A few things in starting our event today I want to share with you is this is the seventh annual first virtual National Native American Languages Summit, and is hosted jointly each year by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the U.S. Department of Education, and the U.S. Department of the Interior. The purpose of this annual summit is to bring together individuals who are passionate about and professionally dedicated to Native American language preservation and revitalization. For many, this is their life's work, and we are here to honor and celebrate that commitment because it is the very essence of who we are as Native peoples. So after the opening, please note that all of you participants that are currently on mute and listen only for this session, but at the breakout sessions following this opening and the networking sessions will be interactive. So we'll start each of these 3 days together like this and come back together on Wednesday for a closing session. Thank everybody. I see in the chat right now, we're having a lot of response, and I appreciate you guys making this event interactive like that. I see a lot of our native languages over here. And we had a special guest. We don't know if he'll be on this call. Maybe he may come on at a later time. But at this time, Jeannie, you want me to go ahead? Okay. So at this time, he was going to do our opening prayer. You know, we like to reach out to our outstanding Native leaders out there that are doing this work. And so, like I said, he may jump on later, but I'm going to go ahead and do the opening prayer for this Native Language Summit today, and ask that you all join me. And however you do that in your traditional spiritual teachings. I say, Noa iri, iriwe tura he atias tira waha, hiri ma he marom hizaga misi, iriwe tura he pakutu akitaru, Noa iri, Pawnee, Seminole, tias tira waha, Akitaru, Atira Huradu, Atias Tirawahat, Tarawi Atatu Ariusta, Titiri Atias, Noa Iri, Pirau, Akitaru, Kahiga, Risadu, Uppets, Uckas, all of our elders Atias Tirawahat, Hizagadamisi. Just want to say at this time, Supreme Ruler of all creations, Atias Tirawahat, thank you for bringing us here in this Wihadu, this place of wonderful things, this virtual circle that we have here, and look down on us as we continue to do this work and to share our work and our knowledge and our teachings as we go forward for our next 7 generations. Thank you for blessing us with all of our young people, all of our adults, all of our elders, all of our families, all of our ancient ancestors that carried these traditions, carried this language, carried this culture and passed it forward to the next 7 generations, that we can continue to do that, and ask you to look down here on us on Atira Huradu, on this Mother Earth, that you can help us along in this journey as we continue to do this work, and think of our future generations, and ask you to bless all of our people here that out there, wherever they came from, wherever their Atira Huradu, wherever their home is, their home place, their land, that you'll put blessings on them down wherever they're at right now, and their families, as we go through this skaki, this virus, COVID-19, that you bless them, and you help them during this time of our holiday season, that our people come together, that you'll just protect them and look over them, and put healing and healing mercies down on our communities, on our people, and know that we're all here for each other, and we want the best for our people. Continue to look over us and help us through this time as we move forward to the future. And say, aho, noa iri, atia sira waha, mado, hirima, hizaga de misi. Aho. Aho, thank you, everybody. In our language, we say aho, or we say noa iri in the Pawnee language, or we say mado, hiri mahe in the Seminole language. And that means it's a big thank you. It's a big thank you from right here, right here. I like to share, where we breathe, where we talk, where we express ourselves, where our breath of life comes from, that we put out here into the world, into the universe. So with that, I'm going to keep it moving. We have a great agenda for you guys during the next 3 days. It's a beautiful time as we talk about and celebrate our language, our traditional language. We call it Pawnee, Pakuru, and whatever you call it in your language, that we're celebrating that traditional language, our culture, our ways of life, here in 2020, and as we move to the future. So next I want to introduce, and I'm very pleased to introduce this young man known as Anthony Morgan Rodman, who will provide some welcoming remarks from the U.S. Department of the Interior. Anthony Morgan Rodman serves as the acting director for the Office of Indian Energy and Economic Development, or IEED, at the U.S. Department of the Interior. Prior to his work in IEED, Morgan served as the first executive director of the White House Council on Native American Affairs, which supported interagency coordination, including initiatives for tribal languages. Morgan also served as a senior advisor on tribal relations in the land buyback program. He has a bachelor's degree from Harvard University and a law degree from the University of Arizona, with a certificate in Indigenous Peoples Law and Policy. Morgan's tribal affiliations are the Cherokee Nation and Osage Nation of Oklahoma. Anthony Morgan Rodman.
Well, CEO, everyone. I'm honored and humbled to participate with you all today, especially with such a distinguished group of experts and on such an important topic. I'd like to thank my colleagues at the Administration for Native Americans, the Department of Education, and the Bureau of Indian Education for organizing this summit, especially during Native American Heritage Month, and the tribes and tribal organizations for their initiatives to protect and revitalize Native languages. I'd also like to acknowledge any elders who may be participating or watching today. Thank you for your leadership, your guidance, and your wisdom. You are appreciated. Again, my name is Morgan Rodman, and I've been serving as the acting director for the Office of Indian Energy and Economic Development and Indian Affairs at DOI for about 1.5 years. I started working for the Department of Interior 11 years ago, right out of law school, and I'm currently in Oklahoma, where I'm from, and I'm enrolled in the Cherokee and Osage Nations. Like many, if not all of us participating in the summit this week, the revitalization and preservation of Native languages is personal. For instance, I grew up mostly with my mother's side of the family, Cherokee. My granny, a diminutive yet powerful presence for the first part of my life, spoke Cherokee fluently. That was her first language, and Cherokee conversations filled the church halls, family kitchens, and wood fire stove chats. I remember listening to it as a child, the language, and it sounded so natural to me, like water tumbling over a pebble creek bed. I try to capture some of the words: gistu, rabbit; waga, cow; ama, water. But I never understood the language fully, even though it seemed familiar to me. My mother could fully understand it, but she couldn't ever speak it fluently. And I always found that so curious and contradictory that someone could understand a language but couldn't speak it. I found later that that wasn't that uncommon, though. The Cherokees and the Osages, the tribes that I call home, are like many other tribes in that they've tried to rebuild and revitalize the state of native languages. Having served in the federal government for a decade, I've seen the role that federal resources can play in strengthening tribal programs, and that includes language retention and revitalization. For the office that I currently lead, the Office of Indian Energy and Economic Development, last month we awarded a grant of $3 million to tribes to help fund language preservation programs. It's called the Living Languages Grant Program. And this year was the first year it was offered. There was a tremendous interest in the grants program that far exceeded available funding. In fact, there was over $9 million in requested funding from 62 applicants. At the end, 18 tribes were awarded grants from all across the country. The projects proposed and awarded were brimming with innovation and optimism, though the perilous state of many of the languages was also evident. Tribes are racing to work with their few remaining native speakers to develop workshops and curriculum. They're relying on distance learning and partnering with regional universities, including some tribes paying for tuition for students who take tribal language classes. Language immersion for preschool is also being offered, as are apps for phones and more. We in Indian Affairs intend to move forward in support of tribal efforts that reinforce native languages. And summits like today are helpful in identifying how federal funding, collaboration, and technical assistance can best complement tribal initiatives. Those of us who work in or have worked with the federal government know that interagency collaboration can reveal a long list of relevant resources that might otherwise be obscured. The same can be said for federal support for tribal languages, and BIE, ANA, and the Department of Education have remained committed to working with each other through an MOU to support native languages. These entities are working to make it easier for tribal communities to use every available federal resource to strengthen native languages. Personally, every time I hear Indigenous language, my heart lifts, whether that's from hearing the elders in my family go back and forth, or the swell of songs radiating from a powwow drum, or from eloquent scholars at the summit today. It's a repudiation of historical assimilation and an inspirational beacon for those who work to protect and preserve native language. So please speak on and speak proudly, and I will do whatever I can in my office to support you. In Cherokee, we don't have a word or expression for goodbye. Instead, we have what amounts to until we meet again. So I wish you all a good summit, and Dona Nago Ha'i. Thank you.
Aho, Noah Itty, OCO, Wado, Mr. Rodman, thank you for those great words. So wonderful to hear all the work that's happening out there for our native languages and our native communities. At this time, I would like to go to our next introduction for Commissioner Jeannie Hovland, an enrolled member of the Flandreau Santee Sioux Tribe of South Dakota. She's the Commissioner of the Administration for Native Americans, ANA, an agency within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. ANA promotes self-sufficiency for Native Americans by providing discretionary grant funding for community-based projects, as well as training and technical assistance. Mrs. Hovland oversees ANA's discretionary funding programs to American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, serves as an advocate for Native Americans, and leads activities within HHS and to develop policies, programs, and budgets affecting Native Americans, all under the authority of the Native American Programs Act. As commissioner, Ms. Hovland serves in the dual role of the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Native American Affairs, affirming the government-to-government relationship between the Administration for Children and Families, ACF, and Indian tribes. As commissioner, Ms. Hovland also serves as chair of the Interdepartmental Council on Native American Affairs, ICNAA, to promote coordination across HHS offices on matters of importance to Native American communities. Ms. Jeannie Hovland.
Thank you so much for your introduction. Brian, are you enjoying the alphabet soup of the acronyms we have across the federal government yet?
Oh, wow, yes.
And more to come, thank you. And Pet Wash Day, Hehani Wash Day, good afternoon, good morning. Depending where you're at in the country, Chante Washtana Pe Chusa Pishto, Jeannie Hovland Amachi Api, Santio Yate Matahan, Commissioner to Administration for Native Americans at Wawashi Chamu. I greet you with a good heart. Again, I'm Jeannie Hovland. I'm a proud member of the Flandreau Santee Sioux tribe. If anybody's from South Dakota, please raise your hand. I'm happy to have everybody here today. This is very exciting. Hello, how, aloha, hafade, bonjour, sego, tahe, yate. I'm sending you warm greetings in just a few of the languages that are represented and will be represented this week at the National Native American Languages Summit. And welcome to all grantees from ANA, Bureau of Indian Education, the Department of Education, and everyone else who has joined us. You are welcome, and we're glad that you have chosen to spend your morning and afternoon with us. I want to thank Brian for starting this event off in a good way by opening with us with a prayer. Thank you so much. And Morgan, we are so glad that you can join us today and share the good news from the interior. In addition to the opening prayer, Brian, thank you for being this year's MC. I know you do a fantastic job. I've had the honor to work with you at other events and appreciate you very much and are glad that you will be MCing this week's events. We had an amazing partnership with the Interior as well as the Department of Education in planning this year's events. And I want to thank the staff from the Bureau of Indian Education, the Office of English Language Acquisition, the Office of Indian Education, and the Administration for Children and Families that participated in the planning and who will be helping to moderate and to present in the sessions. A huge, huge shout out to Michelle Sauvé from the Administration for Native Americans, who has put countless hours of thought, of work, and her heart into preparing this event. As noted previously, this is the 7th annual meeting and the third one that I have been able to join during my time here as Commissioner of the Administration for Native Americans. As Commissioner, I made it a priority to visit as many Native communities as possible. During my visits to ANA grantees, it was evident that our traditional languages play important roles, many of which we will dig deeper into throughout the next 3 days. Roles such as building social cohesion, reinforcing cultural teachings, and instilling traditional knowledge, serving as a focal point for intergenerational activities, especially with our beloved elders, and even as a method for economic development as we identify ways to create authentic cultural tourism experiences that broaden the knowledge of the populations across the world that we are still here. We are resilient people, and our Indigenous languages are a vital part of that resilience. We become even more resilient when we learn, reclaim, and pass down our languages to future generations. That is how we chose the theme for this year's summit, building upon our resilience through our languages. Many of our languages are considered endangered, and while it may be true that many communities are faced with declining numbers of fluent speakers, it is also true that every day someone is learning. Like the resilient salmon that swim up the river thousands of miles to return to their birthplace to spawn, we as Native peoples understand that our languages are a homeland. They are a world in themselves that our ancestors built for us over generations, and reclaiming that world is returning home. When younger generations learn to speak the language that their grandparents or great grandparents were forbidden to speak, they are returning home. Through the various breakout sessions, we will get to hear about all of the great work happening across the United States, including from our relatives in the Pacific. Although our cultures and languages are diverse, we are united today on this virtual platform in the common endeavor of maintaining and revitalizing our native tongues. It is important to note that this year marks 30 years since the passage of the Native American Languages Act of 1990. This act, the work of Indigenous language advocates, signaled a significant shift in the federal policy away from Native language suppression to one with a goal to preserve, protect, and promote the rights and freedoms of Native Americans to use, practice, and develop our languages. 8 years ago, the United States Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of the Interior, and the Department of Education used this very law as the basis for our memorandum of agreement. Co-hosting this summit is just one of the ways we are promoting Indigenous language rights in federally funded programs. It is wonderful to be having this event during Native American Heritage Month, a month where all Americans are asked to celebrate the first people of this country and acknowledge our many contributions to this country that continue even to this day. I'm very excited to announce that this year, for the first time, we are also implementing the Native American Languages Legacy Awards to honor both individuals and organizations that are championing the preservation and protection of our native languages. We will have a special celebration Tuesday that takes stock of recent federal legislative efforts to further support Native American languages. And during that time, we will introduce this year's winner of the Organizational Leadership Award. On Wednesday, we will have a special celebration to celebrate Native American code talkers. During this event, we will honor all code talkers and hear a very special message from two Navajo code talkers. As you know, Navajo and Native American code talkers were forbidden to speak their native languages freely, yet were called upon to use their language to help the United States and our allies win World War I and World War II. They were sworn to secrecy about their service as a code talker until it was unclassified decades later. Unfortunately, many died before the world knew of their heroism and sacrifice. But as Native people, we honor them by keeping their languages alive along with their legacy. In my Dakota language, we call them Akichita Oyate, protectors of our people. Because of them, we enjoy our freedom as American citizens. And because of them, as Native Americans, we stand proud in our right to know and speak our native languages. Last week, we celebrated Veterans Day, and we owe all of our veterans our gratitude each and every day. This week, as part of our Language Summit, we hold our Native veterans in our hearts and prayers. Finally, we come back together on Wednesday evening. It'll be afternoon for some of you, but it'll be for a closing ceremony. We hope you enjoy your time this week, meet new friends, and learn new skills and approaches that will help you in your work to preserve, protect, and promote Native American language as a key element in our continuing resiliency. Thank you again. And Brian, I'm going to turn it back to you for our cultural presentation. Pidama.
Aho, Pidamie. Miss Hovland, thank you for those wonderful remarks on our Native American National Native American Language Summit that's happening right now. This is so great to see so many of our people and communities joining us today. From I seen in the chat, and we are recording this so we can see where everyone's coming from all across the planet here. We call this Mother Earth in our language, Tita Hudadu, this Mother Earth, and where they're all coming from. And another word for our special places, our sacred sites, sacred places, is the Wihadu. And the Wihadu means it's a place of wonderful things. So even what we're doing right now, coming together in this way, that's what we call it, Wihadu. It's a place of wonderful things, sharing all these celebrations that we're having, the 30-year anniversary, Native American Month, so many things happening right now. And on our opening day, we wanted us to always represent who we are, where we come from, our culture, our history, our teachings, and we have a special cultural presentation for you today. So I want to introduce these wonderful young ladies who stepped up at this time. So bear with me. I'm still kind of learning a lot of different, trying to learn as much as I can about all of our different languages and do this introduction in a proper way. So at this time, I want to introduce, okay, Milani, Kane Kuuhivi Nui, and Maluhi, Maluhia Wright. They're talented and inspiring, culturally grounded interns from Kane Hunamoku Voyaging Academy, an ANA Native Youth I-Lead grantee organization whose mission is to perpetuate the knowledge of traditional Hawaiian navigation and to provide opportunities to Native Hawaiian students to advance in contemporary ocean-based careers through academic, college, and career support. Both Milani and Maluhio are graduates of the organization's, let me get this right, Hula'u Holomoana, Hula'u Holomoana Youth Leadership and Ocean-Based Careers Development Program grounded in Hawaiian culture and voyaging traditions. So at this time, I'll let these young ladies take it away on your cultural presentation. We're looking forward to it.
Once again, aloha mai kako, o wau o malanai kane kuahiwi nui, eia o Maluhia Wright, no kane ohe, no kahalu'u ahui manu o ahune, wau no ka'alaia o Maluhia no oia ilaila. Hana maua no kanihuna moku, eia kako ma ke ia wahi he wihade oia ka inoa. Ko kako wahi aloha nui ia o kanihuna moku ka wa'a ma ka waho kamano. Aloha mai kako.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Maluhia Wright. I'm from Ka'alaia Ko'olaupoko, and this is Malanai Kane Kuahiwi Nui, and she's from Okuimanu. Today we are on our wa'a, our sacred place, Kane Hunamoku, and this is our home base, Ka'alaia Ko'olaupoko. And today we're going to be doing 3 olis for you guys. So to prepare for that, if you guys could all stand up with us, we can begin.
Just make it, yeah. E kane walanie, aloha kaua, kau kahoku ho'o kahi here kia laloa. Aloha kamakuku kapa kawahine, he wahine lohia unana I kamakani. E makani lohia uha upumai o lolokoe. E kane walanie, aloha kaua, kau kahoku ho'o kahi hele kia laloa. Aloha kamakuku kapa kawahine, he wahine lohia unana I kamakani. E makani lohia uha upumai o lokoe. E kane walanie, aloha kaua, kau kahoku ho'o kahi here kia laloa. Aloha kamakuku kapa kawahine, e wahine lohia unana I kamakani. E makani lohia uha upumai o lokoe. Na au makua mai kalahiki a kalakau, mai ka ho'oku I a kahala mai. Na au makua ia kahina akua ia kahina alo, ia ka akau I kalani, o kiha I kalani, o we I kalani, nunulu I kalani, ka holo I kalani. E ia nā pula pula o ko o na oiwi o ka aina, e malama o ko ia mako. E ulu I kalani, e ulu I ka honua, e ulu I ka pai aina o Hawaii. E ho mai ka ike, e ho mai ka ikaika, e ho mai ke akamai, e ho mai ka mau popopono, e ho mai ka ike papalua, e ho mai ka mana.
Ka mo'okua hau o kanihuna moku pa.
O hoku le'a ka wahine o mau ke kane. Noho pulaua aloa'a mai o makali'i he keiki he kiakahi. O lopu o makali'i ka moana nui a kea aloa'a mai o kanihuna moku ka pula he kiakahi. Kia aku ka maka I ka a'alihilani a o ili mai ka moku la. O pualoa ka aina o kanehoalani ka pali'ina na e hi'i. I ke ala pono e holo aku ai a ho'i mai. Me ka ike o kou mua e kau mai nei, e mau mai ka ike a mau loa e. Mahalo kako for joining us. And just a quick view so you can see what we are looking at. How do I do that? There we go. This is I was trying to listen to what you guys had to say earlier. I'll try and say the word again. Ohade, where this is our special place. And this is our wa Kanehunamoku. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui.
Mahalo.
Mahalo nui. Noah iti. Yes, we hadu. That place of wonderful things. I think there's another word that I heard from the Hawaiian Islands. Aina. Aina. Yes. Oh man, so beautiful, so wonderful to see. Thank you, young ladies. In our language, like I said, mahalo nui, noa iti, mado. It's a great way to start off the day. First day, the first virtual. This is the first virtual ANA National Native American Languages Summit 2020, and we know we've all moved into that virtual realm. And this is how we're doing it. We can still use these platforms to connect with each other, connect within our circles, connect in our communities, connect our youth, our elders, across the globe here, like these young ladies just shared with us. Thank you for that blessing. Such a wonderful way to start. And thank everyone for all your chat comments over here. We have some great check-ins happening in the chat. I know these are recorded sessions, so at some point they'll be posted up. And we look forward to seeing that for those of you that are on here today and those of you that have missed it. So I want to go on to our next part of today. We're going to keep it moving. So today there's many workshops to choose from coming up from 4 p.m. and 5:30 Eastern. So you can select a workshop on the agenda provided. I'm sure you got an email, gave you the agenda for the summit this year. If none of the workshops appeal to you, or if you have time later today, you can also watch one of the pre-recorded webinars available on the event site under the resources tab. If you watch the webinars today or early tomorrow, you can join Cree Welshula, the Training and Technical Assistance Director for ANA's Native Language Community Coordination Demonstration Project, for live 30 minutes discussions tomorrow. In a network session later today, this will be informal and provide a chance to introduce yourself among the other participants, to other participants attending the summit, and be a part of the sharing circle. We definitely want this to be virtual. We want it to be interactive experience for all of you out there, and that's how they set it up this year. Great job by our production team and organizers for this event. There's some great presentations offered, so I hope that you guys can get on. I'm glad that it's being recorded so that people can go back and maybe watch some other sessions that you can't get into today. So that's our last message for today, our announcement for today. And we'll be back again, like I said, every day. Our opening session, we're together, and then there will be a closing session on the last day. So I hope that you guys, I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of questions in our chat that we'll be able to get back to you. And I hope you guys enjoy the summit this year, our 2020 NALS. And so here it is. You guys enjoy it today. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and definitely share it with people. Let them know what's happening today. And thank you for all of your chats. The chats are coming in. Our team's going to look at it and they're going to check those out. Thank you to all of our presenters today and all of your opening remarks. and have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. In our language, we say, Kustuji edit. We'll see you again. We don't have a word for goodbye. Kustuji edit.